Today we're talking about mules. Martoni. Normally they mug me. I had to get the cookies out. Hi, Barb. Barb have been up here. They've been all over me.
Or her.
This here's Willie. He's an awful nice little mule. He really is. You just seen a picture of Don in the beginning there. And this is Tony. Tony is an Appaloosa mule. His mother's an Appaloosa. He's a nice mule. This mule here ain't no mule. This is Willow. He a donkey. They're like having children around. I'm going to tell you right now, they really are. And this big old black right here, this is Prince. Yeah, want to bring that camera a little closer? We'll talk to Prince in a minute. I'm 6'1". This draft horse weighs a ton. He's probably a little better than a ton. He's a little fluffy right now. They hate to be curried. Yeah, they just hate it, don't you, Prince? That is my guy. He likes the cookies too. Now when you're walking amongst these kind of critters, you gotta be quite careful. You gotta watch them. I'm gonna get on my stool here. I want to talk to you about something about mules. They're more agile than a horse, and I'll tell you why. A mule's natural movement is to have 3 feet on the ground when it's walking. A horse has 2 feet. Well, there's little Tony. He got to have a little bit more. Yeah. Willie's a young guy. It's a pony-sized mule. He didn't quite cut it for horse size. But I tell you what, this is the bravest mule you'll ever see right here, this one. Yeah. You starting to get the idea, aren't you? Now, what I was getting to was draft horses back in the day was the mainstay for logging. Guys like that. They were the mainstay. Now, you could run a team of draft horses right off a cliff if they trusted you. But you won't mules. Mules won't do anything to get in danger. But I tell you what mules were good for. When they were on these side hills around here, they're real steep. These side hills are. And they would use mules as singles to help get the logs sidling down off to where it was a little more level so they could pick them up with the draft horses. Now I'm talking a long time ago. This ain't nothing new. And now a mule can pull a lot, even a small mule. Now they can really pull a lot. And they harden right up to work just like donkeys do. They harden right up. And I'm pretty popular. They know I got cookies now. That's kind of a bad thing to do with that.
They'll rob you.
Yeah, they're going to mug me is what they're going to do. I had to tie old Prince back here because he knows he's bigger than everybody else. Oh, what another. And so anyways, knowing that about mules, they used them where terrain was rough. No, they couldn't pull full trees. They'd pull logs. That's what they did with them. But a mule will work a lot longer in a day than a horse will. Just their nature. Now, but I'll tell you something else about mules. If they get in a routine like mowing hay, they generally are longer gaited than horses. So even a smaller team of mules, like Tony, he just a normal sized mule. He's about 14, maybe 14 and a half hands. This little feller's 12 and a half. He didn't make it, did you? No, he didn't make it. And I love their ears. They just got big old ears. These guys are my friends. But when the mules got done with their work, then they'd bring the draft horses in. And I'll tell you another thing they used them for. They used them to pack equipment up over these steep side hills. They used the mules. And they were quite cooperative about it.
That's good.
Don, you need a cookie. Now, we got a shy mule. That's not normal, but we got a shy one here. I don't know if he'll get in a shot or not. You just give him one on his own. And we'll have to move this camera a bit because they're getting a little pushy. They're getting used to the idea. They like being curried too. So anyways, the draft horses would come along, they'd do their business. And now if you notice, if you got one, you got another. This is the way it is. If you got one, you got another. But I thought you'd get a charge out of seeing these guys. You got 3 mules, you got 2 donkeys. I want to show you one donkey right here. Let's get a little shot of Jack here. Now that's our antique Jack. He's the donkey.
I say no, he's not dead.
He just woke up. When he was laying down, he thought he was standing up. That's that 56-year-old donkey. He goes, oh, I'm so darn stiff. Okay, enough of that. You gotta learn with mules, you gotta work with them slower. And they all like to be it, straighten their flank. You do that with a horse and they get jumpy, right? Is that right? This one's my buddy. See?
He wants to
He
rub
wants
his
the
butt.
butt itching,
Yep.
see? He wants the butt itching. That's why he stepped forward like that. See that stripe down the back? I don't know if you can get that where you can see that stripe. Now if you look, there's kind of a crossover. Okay, that comes from the donkey side. I'll tell you what the legend of that was. This is really quite interesting. Get my stool here. The legend of that cross is supposedly from biblical times. Yeah, everybody knows the story. When Mary was carrying baby Jesus, and she rode a donkey to Jerusalem. And from ever on, all donkeys have a cross on their back. Well, mules get that too. It's not always evident in a mule because sometimes they're dark like Tony. But if you shaved a mule, you see that right in their skin color picks that up. Yeah, center of retention right there, guys, center of retention. That's the way he is. Ah, lovely boy, ain't ya? Just a lovely boy. Now, I've hitched a couple of these mules. I have a him. This guy right here don't think he needs to be broke. I've had a saddle on him before, but I'll tell you what, I use a junk saddle on him because there's an old apple tree up back here, and he pitched that saddle right up underneath them limbs. And one time, you put a blanket on him, but I could get him too if I wanted to. Old Tony here, he's solid as they come. He'll do whatever you ask. Don there, you seen. Well, maybe you seen him or maybe you didn't. The one in the beginning there. I'd like to try my hand this summer, putting these two together, Don and Tony, the two bigger ones, as a team. And I thought it'd be kind of neat if I could get them to get where they're working in the woods with lighter loads. You need full-blown draft animals like that black over there, Prince. If you're going to want to pull big oak trees, They'll pull a whole tree. They will. They'll pull 800-900 feet, and they'll just keep going. A team of mules, I figure, they'll go probably 400, maybe 500 feet at the most. You know, that's about all the weight they want to have. And they're loving on me. They don't realize I'm out of cookies. I'm not out of butt rubs, though. This is a bad position to be in with a mule. I know what's going on with them. If you're not familiar with horses and mules, do not let this happen.
They got to know you're there.
If
Don't
there's
scare them.
one more walks up to this guy, they'll kind of cow kick at each other. All one of them's got to do is walk up to this guy right to my right, and I'm backwards and up in front of him. The only safe place you are with a mule, guaranteed, is from the front shoulders forward. And yes, they kick very hard. They deserve that reputation. But I'll tell you what they are. They're big babies. You got him good in the shot here? Yeah, they're big babies. When you get a mule, if you ever think about it, don't treat it like a horse. Treat it like a 7-year-old boy, because that's what you're dealing with.
They're smart.
They're smarter than heck. They'll play jokes on you. I'll tell you a little something that happened to me with Don. He's a shy guy.
That's him right there.
Yeah, that's Don up there. I bought Barb a saddle. What was it, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? I bought her a brand new saddle, a real nice Western saddle for Christmas. And oh, she loved it right to death. Well, it wasn't it didn't have the nicest belly strap. It was thin and it was a little too smooth. I said, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll change that later. I wish I'd have done it then. So it comes springtime. Now this is way before my back surgery, so things were hurting already. Well, I decided I was going to get on Don and with that saddle, and I did it. And he's a beating feet and trotting back and forth. They love to be interacted with, they really do. And they like you to ride them. And, well, all of a sudden, he kind of trotting all the way down toward the main road, and there's a car coming. And there's a truck coming the other way. I thought, well, I better turn him around quick. Well, they neck rein naturally, in most cases, mules do. Well, he was real good at neck reining, which I didn't realize that at the time. I just trail rode him. And I think this guy needs to go out too. He just loving things. Yeah. And so anyway, I rolled the reins over and come contact with his neck. He spun. He took one big leap. I'll tell you what he did. That one big leap loosened that cinch strap. Yeah, because it didn't hold. The second leap, I started reeling him in because I felt that saddle come up about 4 inches, then about 8 inches, and it was loose. Well, I'll tell you what happened. When I got on the brakes, he just comes sliding right up. I'm going forward. Well, at the same time, he just takes a step to the left. Didn't you, Don? And that saddle went right around and underneath him. Now, you do that to a horse, I'll tell you what a horse is going to do. He's going to kick that saddle to death. They don't like that. No, that ain't what Don did. I never let go of the reins either. And, in fact, that middle finger there, I dislocated. It was all turned sideways. Well, I had a hold of the reins, and when I stopped, I was laying on my back with my neck and shoulders right up against both of his hocks in the rear, right against his back legs. And you know that darn mule with that saddle there and me against him, he locked right up and never moved. They'll protect you. He never, ever moved. Well, Barb come down, and she got a hold of him. I ain't exactly what happened. I remember what happened. Barb started walking down toward the road. Are you all right? Well, of course, I'm still breathing. I've got to be all right. And I let him go, and he went over to Barb. just like a 7-year-old boy. The closer he gets, the quicker he's going, and he starts like that. Now, mules will cry like a human. Yeah, they will. And by the time he got to Barb, he had tears running down his face, like that, because he thought he did something wrong. Well, I finally get up, and I hobble in the house, get to my chair, and I'm going to tell you why it hurts so damn bad. I landed on concrete. Yeah, I landed right on concrete. My poor fat butt, it hurt. It really did. Well, for about 2-3 days, he wouldn't even eat. See, he's trying to take that away from me. See that? Either use it or lose it. This is what he's saying. You mind it? Can you do it yourself? No. So anyway, Barb says, you got to go up there and talk to that mule. He's in all kinds of sad condition. So I went up there and I talked to Don. I says, Don, I says, you ain't done nothing wrong. And I gave him a couple goodies just like I did a minute ago, and I got this kind of result after about 10 minutes. And you know, he realized he might not know the words, but he knew what I was trying to say. And that was kind of neat. But I'll tell you another thing that Don did. Now, he's the shy one. And Toady obviously isn't. Come here, Toad. Come here, Toad. Hey, Toad. We was out here one day building a fence. We had a watering trough over here before we added on this. And it was divided between 2 pastures. Well, what you do is you just build a plank fence between. They can drink out of each end. That's what I was doing. Well, I happened to be a hot summer day, and I'm wearing shorts. Yeah, I was. And Don's helping me because you can see they're attentive. Especially if they think you got a cookie and a curry. And I'm bending over and I'm trying to get the board in and I'm putting the nails in and everything. And he pantsed me. Yeah, that mule pantsed me. Boom, like that. But I'll tell you what he did just for that. He was picking on me. I should have seen it coming. I'm glad nobody's around. Well, you know, there's reason I wear bib overalls. It's that plumber's butt theory. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. So I'm bending over and, you know, got the plumber's butt sticking out. That mule put his nose right on frickin' crack of my butt, and he blew. And there was a whole lot of moisture come out of his nose, and it just sounded like that. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I jumped right up, and I turned around. I was a little jumpy, you know. And I turned around and looked, and he jumped back, and he looked at me like, what? What? And that was what he did. Well, I said, nah, that's enough of that. So I went right back to work, and that's when he pantsed me. I said, this ain't going to work, Don. Then I went in, got my overalls on, put my fence pliers where they belong, got my pockets full of everything, and I start going around repairing fence. Well, that old Don, you know these overhauls, they got a side pocket on your leg. He reached, walk off. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. He just walk it off, ignoring me. He don't want to hear it. He grabbed them fencing pliers from me. Now, mules and donkeys in particular, a horse will indiscriminately do the business anywhere. They have a private pile off in the corner somewhere, and they use that. It'll build up, and then when it gets so high, they'll go build another one. Well, there was a pile of mule doo-doo, and I said, Don, give me the pliers. Nope. Oh, you can see the bright light in his eye, and he was smiling. He's holding on to them fencing pliers, and I'd reach out. He'd be this close. Oh, can't have him. He led me all the way to that frickin' pile. So right there, standing over that pile of doo-doo, I said, Don, no. And he drops them. Blop. In that pile of mule doo-doo. And then he gets to laughing about it. He goes, her, 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 her. Sooner or later, I'll get one of these guys laughing on camera for you. You won't believe it. They just her, 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 because they're jokesters. But something that I won't do. Maybe I'll do it someday, but I don't want to do it today. If you holler at a mule just like a little boy, you got one that really likes you, just like this one does, you freaking start hollering at him and act like you're going to hit him or something, just like a little boy, and they know they didn't deserve it, they'll start crying. They'll get the blubber like that, tears run down their face. The trouble is, they get mad at you, and they don't forget it. They don't. Oh, this baby right here. They don't forget it, do they? Okay, this is what I got for this video. Mules are useful. They really are. Way back in Egypt, they had donkeys and they had horses. You know they got mules. Well, they didn't look at them like they were worth anything, but they were good food, I guess. Boy, if they'd have known, I'm sure some people were poor way back in them times, figured out a mule had a use. And, he's just a boob. See, this is how you get a talking mule right here. You can do things with them that you can't a horse. That's one thing I'm going to tell you. Okay, that's enough for this video. Goodbye.